Hey everyone, this is Dylan, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different than I have done in the past. I probably have two videos because this is going to be a video about all the movies that I've watched this summer and just me kind of going through and telling you what I liked about them and different things about them that I think are interesting or kind of interesting about them. So I wanted to give a little backstory. I tried to get a job this summer and it didn't really work out, so I didn't really have a whole lot to do, so I decided that I was going to watch some of my movies. I have almost 1,000 movies that I'm keeping, and I've got like 600 that I'm trying to sell. So I figured I'd go through and try to watch some stuff because I have a bunch of them that I've never even seen. So what I ended up doing, because I can be a little indecisive, is I wrote down a bunch of the movies that I wanted to watch and that I've never seen or hadn't seen in a long time and put them in this cup. So then every time I finished them, I would draw one and then I would watch it, and then as soon as I finished it I would throw the slip away and I would put a new one, get a new one out, and then that would be how I would watch my movies. So it added a bit of randomness to it, so not everything was like me picking it, and I would sit through it even if I didn't enjoy the movie just because I needed to watch it. Alright, so I've got some Blu-rays, some DVDs, and some VHSs, and I'm just going to go through them and let you know if there's anything that particularly that I like or dislike about them, and I'll just kind of give you my general opinions about them. But before I did that, I wanted to do some of the digital things that I've watched, either on Netflix, actually, well, yeah. So a couple things on Netflix and then a couple things on like TV. So the first thing is I watched season 5 of Orange is the New Black. I did that in probably about 2 or 3 days. But season 5 was crazy if you're watching it, and I am literally so scared for season 6 because things are not going to be the same, and I'm afraid that it's going to be pretty bad. Not that bad in like the storyline, but not like, it's a good show, but it's not good for the characters. That's what it is. And then I also watched Riverdale. So I had watched like the first 5 episodes on TV, and then I got behind and then forgot to watch it. So I finished up the season whenever Netflix released it on like 2 weeks after the final premiered, and I would definitely recommend watching Riverdale. It was a really good show. It has a little teen drama type things, but it definitely has a lot to offer. There's definitely some horror undertones to it, and I ended up really liking it. Also, it has Skeet Ulrich in it, who is from the Scream series. He played Billy Loomis, so if there's some more for you to hopefully want to watch it from. I also watched a movie called Most Likely to Die that is on Netflix as well. I don't know. It was not the best movie. There are parts of it that I liked. I liked the killer. I pretty much only liked the killer's mask, and I liked the killer's weapon. So hopefully you guys will check it out at least for that. I mean, it's kind of enjoyable movie. It wasn't bad by any means, or it wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen by any means, but it was one that was alright. And then I've also, these are currently on TV and they're currently in the middle of the seasons, but I've been watching Pokemon Sun and Moon. So the thing about Pokemon Sun and Moon is that it's got the new Pokemon in it from the new generation, but they completely changed up the animation style, which I wasn't 100% sure about, and I'm still kind of iffy about it. I really enjoyed the old animation. I mean, that's what I grew up with, and they did the old animation all the way up until this new season, and then they changed the animation, and some of the faces are kind of weird. Like, the Pokemon all look really good, but it's the human faces that are kind of strange And then also I've been watching Stephen King's The Mist, the TV show, which is on the Spike channel, and it is pretty good. I would definitely recommend checking it out. Each week, I mean, it's a lot different than the movie. There's a whole lot of different things going on. There's a whole lot of different locations. There's not really monsters in The Mist, so I definitely think that if you're a fan of the movie, to definitely check it out, because it's quite a bit different, but it's still pretty good as well. But the first one is The Fifth Wave. So this has Chloe Grace Moretz in it, and I actually really like this one. So there's characters that I like and characters that I don't like, but I would recommend watching it. So then I also watched, so this is another Stephen King thing. So I watched 11/22/63, and this one was actually pretty good as well. I would definitely recommend watching it. I watched it in probably about 1 or 2 days, just binging it. It was from Hulu, so you can watch it on Hulu, or you can pick up the Blu-ray or DVD of it. I actually got quite a bit of a deal on this from Walmart, so I had it, but I would definitely recommend checking it out. This is the Book of Life, and I actually really enjoyed the story behind it. I really like the idea of the Day of the Dead, which is something that they celebrate in Mexico, and this touches on quite a bit, but I would definitely recommend checking this out if you haven't watched it yet. Then we have, this is a movie from a long time ago, but this is Cats and Dogs, and this is a silly, fun movie. So if you're feeling like watching a silly, fun movie, check it out. If not, then it's not one that you're going to miss too much of. Then we have Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 in 3D. So I didn't watch it in 3D. I don't have a 3D TV. But I would definitely recommend checking this out. I love this movie. I liked the first one, the first Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and I really liked this one. I think that they were so creative in what they had done, so I would definitely recommend checking this one out. Then we have The Collector. So The Collector comes off as a bit of like it was inspired by Saw. And that makes sense because after doing a little bit of research on it, it turns out that this was actually supposed to be a prequel to the Saw movies, but it is basically an entire house filled with these traps, and this guy is trying to save this family, and he has to get through all these traps without pretty much hurting himself too bad. But I would recommend it. It's low budget and it's gritty, but I think that it's pretty interesting and definitely worth a try at least. Then we have Congo. This one really wasn't too bad. I mean, I know it gets a lot of hate from what I've seen, but I wasn't too upset about this. I thought it was alright, so I mean, watch it if you want, but I mean, you probably don't have to watch it if you don't want to. And then we have The Conjuring 2, which is actually pretty interesting. I don't know. I am not... So The Conjuring 2 has had a lot of critical acclaim. A lot of people say that it's like ridiculously scary. And I never thought that the first one was that scary, and this one really wasn't that scary as well. I really enjoy Vera Farmiga, and I love her as an actress, but I'm not too keen on the characters that they play, that her and Patrick Wilson play, Ed and Lorraine Warren. I'm just not too big of a fan of them. But I thought that it was a decent haunting movie, and I would say check it out. So then we have, did you hear about The Morgans? So this was one that I actually went and saw in theaters when it first came out with my friends, which I don't know why we chose to watch this movie, but we did. And it's a nice little comedy, and I would check it out if you are interested in this kind of movie. Then we also have, so this one, I think I've mentioned it before, but so earlier this year, Netflix got rid of their Digimon show. So I had watched it all, and after I got done watching it, I found out that they had this new series called Digimon Adventures Try, which brings back the original characters from the first 2 seasons and pretty much has all new adventures. So I got the Digimon Adventures Try reunion, and I am still on the fence about if I like the animation, and some of it's a little hard to get over because there's different voices. Some of the people have different voices. Some of the people came back, which I'm very happy about, but some of them have different voices, and it's a little hard to adjust to that. So hopefully I have the next one pre-ordered, so hopefully it won't be too bad after watching it a couple times. But I like this. If you're a fan of Digimon, I would definitely recommend checking these out because these are the characters that you pretty much know and love coming back. Then we have Dracula Untold, which, after doing a little bit of research, this was actually supposed to be the start of the new Universal Dark Universe, and I was not a huge fan of this movie. It was more Vlad the Impaler as like a military person than like Dracula, which I kind of understand, but it kind of got a little bit boring. So I wish there was more Dracula, like actual Dracula story, but if you're a fan of Dracula or vampires, I mean, check this out, but I didn't think that it was it wasn't like spectacular. Then this movie I actually originally got, I'm pretty sure I probably got it because my name is in it. This is Dylan Dog, Dead of Night. So this is, I don't know if this was a comic or not. I want to say that it was, but don't quote me on that. But this is a pretty fun movie about a guy who is basically a monster hunter. And I enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend checking it out. There's some comedy and there's some crazy stuff that happens, but I would definitely recommend checking it out. Then we have Ender's Game. So I did not enjoy this movie as much as I would have liked. I wasn't too keen on the whole military aspect of this movie. It relies very heavily on different like military things, and I didn't really enjoy that. I mean, I ended up liking it, but I just liked it. I wasn't one that I was like super keen about, but definitely check it out if you're into like the military type war movies. Then we have this, which I actually only watched District 9, and I would definitely recommend checking out District 9. It was a pretty good movie. The CGI in it is ridiculously good, so definitely check it out. Then we have Ex Machina, and I thought that this was kind of slow, but it builds up to a pretty crazy ending, and I would definitely recommend checking it out. It was pretty good. Then we have The Fault in Our Stars, and I'm just gonna say I did cry to this movie. And you don't think that you would, but I don't know, you get attached to these people, and it turns out to be really sad, and the whole story is sad. But I would definitely recommend checking this out. It was a pretty good movie. The last Blu-ray that I have is The Forest. And I wasn't a huge fan of this. I don't quite understand the ending a whole lot, but I don't know. I think that they missed an opportunity with the Agigahara Forest. I think that that forest could be a ridiculously cool, scary movie, and I don't think that this one did it well.